Hi everyone, this is Kayvon, co-conscious with Kevin. I'm in a bunch of parts. Our system's really scrambled right now, to be honest, because we just had a really messed up experience that we are here recording this video to share with you all about. I'm going to try to talk about this objectively and just give a play-by-play of what happened, and then allow myself to get more emotional. So if I seem really flat or like I don't care about what I'm saying, that's not true. I'm just actually so emotional and upset about this that if I were to let myself feel it as I talk in its entirety, I would not be able to say what I need to say to tell you guys what happened. So, sorry if I'm glitchy or things I say sound kind of off. I'm just very, very triggered and upset. So, I have on my channel a list of YouTube channels I'm subscribed to, like most anybody else on here, that is private, that other people can't see, as far as I know. Not unless they have internal access to my account in some way that I don't know about. And I found my old account that I am subscribed to on here from when I was a teenager. When I was a teenager, I had an account that just had a bunch of music on it, things I found funny, so I thought. It was mostly trigger stuff. No uploads, just stuff that I liked, as in had hit the like button for or put in playlists. It was really mostly music. And it seems that some authors of mine subscribed to that channel as a way of keeping track of it on our account here. So like we found this old account of ours and we subscribed to it so that we could find it easily, so that we could go through it and look at stuff on it and use it to heal, basically, use it to help remember things that had happened. But I suspect that there are darker reasons why parts of me kept this channel around. Not anything bad that we did, but because I think parts of me wanted me to find stuff connected to people I grew up with that can be found through looking through the channels that I had subscribed to on that account. My subscriptions are public on that account. I went through the subscriptions list for some reason. I think I was being guided by authors. I don't know how much these authors were operating of their own accord. I worry that there might have been programming involved, getting them to do this. But we scrolled through our subscriptions on this channel for some reason, and we found the account of one of our old friends from MK Ultra. This was someone our own age, born within weeks of us. And somebody who we've struggled a lot with seeing as a victim. They were our own age, like I said, but they were used to handle us. And we've had a lot of resentments towards them for a long time. Those are now actually finally fading, and we're finding healing by recognizing that they were a victim, by looking at their channel and finding stuff of them and us when we were kids, and seeing just how much programming they were under, seeing that they were polyfragmented, have DID, and were switching, and were not operating under their own control. And I can see that they're not a narcissist or a sociopath like I was programmed to believe that they were. They were just another monarch child like me. And anyways, so I found this stuff that did bring me some healing, but it was very disturbing and triggering. This stuff of me and them. It was one video that I'm talking about. I didn't mean for it to sound like it's plural. I'm just triggered. I hope that was not unclear. But the thing that really got to me, the first thing that really, really messed me up, was not that video of us around the age of 14. We were almost 15, both of us. Was them with their little brother, who was a baby at the time. And I want to be clear that there was nothing in this video that I could take to law enforcement and not just get in trouble myself for being an outspoken monarch slave. I want to be clear about that. But I know what was going on in the video, even if I couldn't take anyone to court about it and do anything about it. In this video, my old friend was in a dark room with this baby, and they were playing this really bizarre music. I would not be terribly surprised if the music was something that a person could find online through a band with a name that supposedly exists outside of the underground, but I think it's equally likely, if not more likely, that the music was an actual MK Ultra trigger tape and not something that you would find outside of, the underground or this YouTube video, which I would consider to be part of the underground. It's just public, just not that many people are going to click on it or know what it's about. So this very bizarre music was playing, and my friend was spoon-feeding the baby what I guess was baby formula. It triggered me a lot because it looked like vomit, and there was this liquid all over the baby that I would assume to be the formula that the baby perhaps had vomited themselves, but it was the color of vomit, and this weird music was playing, and the way that the baby was acting was extremely frightening. Its eyes were huge in a way that was not natural for an infant. Maybe someone outside of MK wouldn't pick up on the subtleties, but I picked up on a lot of it. And their movements were robotic and repetitive and weird. And it seemed like the baby didn't want to keep eating after a while, but every time my friend put the spoon out in front of them, the baby had no choice but to robotically react to the spoon in what seemed to me like an odd way. And the whole thing just emanated the energy of a training tape, of a training session, I mean to say, but it could also be used as a training tape for others, of conditioning a baby for sexual exploitation. And again, it's not like I can do anything with this. I can't take this to law enforcement. I know that they don't help with this stuff. They would just laugh in my face. Nothing overtly illegal happened. I know what this stuff is about. I know what's going on because I have familiarity with this world. And I want to also say that this was from years ago. I don't know how many, but this was also an older video. That baby must be a much more grown-up child now. And my friend in the video was acting so bizarre. Like, her face just, she kept making these weird faces, and her voice, it wasn't like anything I remember from her. She was obviously switching in alters, and at the end she said something, and I don't know what she said. I couldn't make it out, but it almost didn't sound like English. Like, I couldn't make it out, but I felt like there was something really significant to it that really disturbed me and triggered me, and I wouldn't be able to probably play it over again and ever hear what she said. Like, I would probably just keep dissociating. So there's obviously a trigger in it. So that was very weird and disturbing. But then it gets worse. In the meantime, I went back to, that's weird, I just saw this flash in front of my eye in the camera. I'm not sure what that was about, this white streak. I wonder if that'll show up in the recording. That was weird. Anyways, that kind of made me dissociate. I don't know what the deal was with that. So, in the meantime, I went back to the comments section for the video of me and this friend when we were kids. And there were 2 comments. One was from somebody that I knew from all of that. Something seemingly benign, but also triggering. And beneath that was this comment from somebody. I didn't recognize their username. Their profile picture was of a cat. And I clicked on their profile, and I found the channel of somebody else that I knew from the mind control. Somebody connected also to the friend whose channel I'd originally found, who had the video with the baby. This person also had a video involving a baby. This person also, I want to say, is a slave, was around my age. I don't hold them responsible for anything, nor do I hold that other friend responsible. These people are monarch slaves, and that's part of what makes this difficult, is that the people who are actually responsible for this are not documented in any of this footage. The video of theirs that had to do with a baby was an invitation to a quote-unquote birthday party. I don't know if this really was a birthday party. I imagine that it was something ritualistic involving MK Ultra programming. I'm certain of that. And the reason I clicked on this of all their videos first was because it had an image of a very bruised up looking baby. And this could have just been a newborn baby who had naturally become bruised up by being born. It was a disturbing picture, though, nevertheless. And it had all these weird edits to it. And I want to pause and say that the person whose channel this was, last I heard from them, which was a while ago, because I don't talk to any of those people anymore, they were in animation school up in Canada. And so I'm sure people are to assume, I'm sure the intention was at least that people were to assume that this was something that they put together, this video, as some kind of gag. It's part of their birthday invite, right, for their party. But it had this bruised up baby and triggering music and these weird animations around it, these hands that were in front of it. It was odd. And the worst thing, and this is stuck in my head, and this is going to be stuck in my head for a long time because it's something that I've already seen from the mind control. This is a trigger for me. The baby, edited over the baby's face, was a smile, a cartoonish smile that curved up rather sharply, and it was very, very distinct. And this smile, it goes back to programming of mine from when I was an infant. And I'm sure this is programming that many people have been subjected to, as I am not saying that I think this tape was made for me. This was just a tape that I'm guessing was made for MK Ultras in this person's inner circle. And eyes appeared over the baby, too. Cartoonish eyes that were very MK Ultra. The whole thing with the smile and the eyes was very MK Ultra, I'm trying to say. And it was just one of the most disturbing images. I'm not sure how disturbing it would truly be to somebody outside of MK Ultra, but it's one of the most frightening images for me. And there was all sorts of weird stuff in that video. Animations of tombstones, and there was one of a tombstone, I think, in a graveyard, and gothic stuff, and I'm not saying that in itself is weird. I just understand it's all be part of programming in this context. And then the last thing, and I don't want to talk about this too much because I've gone on long enough, and honestly, the stuff about the children is what's important here. Not that the monarch slave whose channel this was isn't important, but that's what I'm really focused on, the babies. But I clicked on a video of this person dancing to some triggering music in very triggering, very weird clothing that's very reminiscent of the stuff I grew up in, that this person grew up in as well, of course, with me. And it was edited where there was all sorts of triggers in it. And at one point, they'd put in this text, paused in the video and put in this text about how the next part you will see them something about demons. I don't remember the exact language, but something about demons and their toes, and then more of the weird glitchy dancing with edits and triggers, and then at the end this black thing descended over the screen like it looked like something from a horror movie, like an evil spirit like yanks a person out of the screen, like all of a sudden it's supposed to make you jump. Kind of made me jump. It was very disturbing, very horrifying for me, as these are people that I knew personally. You know, all this stuff, I mean, this is a person, a multiple system, really. So I guess I could say people that I knew from the mind control, and so was that other person who had the video of them actually physically with a baby, feeding them, like I said. And all of it just fucking haunted me, you know, seeing this stuff. I'm sorry that I found it, and I wish that I could expose it. But like I said, these are not the people who are responsible. And there's nothing that anybody who watches my channel, I think, could do with that information, unless they themselves were MK Ultra and on the inside, in which case they would already, if not know these people, then know so many people who need help. And if anybody who watches this who is MK Ultra and has access to the inside world and all this stuff, who wants to help, I mean, I'm sure that they already have tons of people in their life who they're trying to help. And these are just two more slaves of many. And that baby is just another slave, and the bruised up baby in that picture, I don't know what was going on there, but I don't even know if that baby's alive. I don't know. I just know that this stuff is horrifying and disturbing, and I just felt this overwhelming isolation and loneliness having seen this. The edited image of the infant with the creepy smile, it got to me in a way that I just can't explain. It brought things back. So I'm going to have to deprogram around this, really look inside for where these traumas are that this is triggered and work through them. And I'd also like to say that it's very weird to me that I would find that first friend's channel of mine through my old channel, that I would even have looked in the right place to find it, given that the video of the two of us was from almost exactly 7 years ago to the date. And just like 3 days or something, just a few days. Not sure exactly how many. Don't remember what date it is today. But it would be 7 years to the date. And I am currently processing stuff around something that happened at that exact time. Not what was in that video. Although I do remember that video a little bit. It jogged my memory, and there were parts of it that I had remembered from that day, and it was a significant ritual date for me. I find it so interesting that, or not interesting, just so confirming that that was the date on which that video was recorded, when 7 years before that, or maybe it was 8, I was 6 or 7 years old when something extreme happened on that very date. That was one of my most profoundly, violently impactful traumas. So I have more to say about all this, but I want to keep it to myself because I'm just in too much pain to speak. I mean, as you can see, literally my face just wants to like recede like this. Like I couldn't press the corners of my mouth back enough. It feels like I'm being stabbed in the stomach. Like I very well might be reliving some virtual reality programming trauma in which I was gutted, because that's honestly how I feel. I want to double over like I've just been stabbed in the stomach. It's interesting though, because the stomach is where people say the inner child is, and I felt that. And as these are people I grew up with, it feels like I really have been stabbed in my childhood. Okay, that's all I have for this. The purpose of this really was just to shine a light, document what I'm experiencing, and just nothing else, just let people know just how torturous it is to live with this information, not be able to do anything with it, not be able to save these people, and to be just so limited in what they can do and what I can do. Thanks.